Oh, we're live again. Live again? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe yes, maybe no. I think we are. I think we are. Are we live? Are we live? Yeah, we are live. All right, that's good. That's a good sign. It's better than something else, right? I hope. All right, talk to me. Talk to me.
Just use reconciliation to do with healthcare exactly what you laid out, and they wouldn't have to worry about Democratic votes.
Well, that or knock out the filibuster.
Okay, thank you, David
Knocked out
Gillespie.
the
Appreciate it,
filibuster.
buddy.
It would all go away, but we have a few people that wouldn't do that. It's crazy. Look, we should knock out the filibuster. And if you did that, we'd get voter ID. You'd have no mail-in voting. All things that make our elections dishonest. And you'd get a lot of other things having not even to do with voting. But Republicans should knock out the filibuster, and we should approve a lot of things. You wouldn't have January 30th looming because, you know, you have the 30th of January looming. You know that, right? And if we knocked out the filibuster, it would be just a simple approval. But you have some Republicans, no, they're unable to explain why. You know, if you ask them why, they're unable to explain it. They cannot win the debate. But they should knock out the filibuster. And frankly, they should get rid of the blue slips too, yeah.
Mr. President, the Democrats won Miami where you won the election 1 year ago. Do you think it's because of the Hispanic media like Telemundo that are publishing fake news about the ICE operations? How do you plan to win back those votes for midterms?
Yeah, well, I won that whole election. And, you know, it's interesting. When I'm not running, we don't do as well.
So he just admitted that Telemundo is making fake news about ICE. Oh, man. Come on, y'all. Come on.
And I'm going to try and get that changed for the midterms. But we did have a big win in Tennessee, as you know. Matt Van Epps had a big win in Tennessee against a very strong candidate, attractive candidate, who a lot of people thought would do very well. And Matt won by a lot. And I won Tennessee by a real lot. You know, we had a great election. We won every single swing state. We won the popular vote. We won everything. And there's a thing that they have now, districts, which is a big deal. I think in a way it's the most important stat from the standpoint of, you know, looking at numbers accurately. So out of thousands of districts, I won 2,750 versus 525. Think of that, 2,750 versus 525. It was great. That's why the map, when you see a map of the election, it's all red other than two little narrow lines on the other side. Please.
Just winning so much, Mr. Trump.
We have a drastically different strategic goal than the Israelis do. So we will say that Israel is our ally in this. They're basically our co-equal in this. People like me will say, actually, we're not really even co-equals. They're leading because we're having to react.
Thank you for joining in on the chat, Juan Martinez. Please let me know, how do you really feel? And reasons behind your statement. You're welcome here, buddy. Thank you.
Back to them. But either way, we're basically joined at the hip with the Israelis. Now, the problem is they have a much different strategic goal and a much, I'd say, higher threshold and tolerance for chaos and bloodshed than we do. Now, we have stated that our strategic goal, you'll hear Secretary Hegseth rattle these off at his morning briefings that he gives to the media. It's to destroy the Iranian Navy, to destroy the IRGC, to destroy their ballistic missile capability, to destroy all their enrichment. So we kind of have a checklist of like things that we want to bomb, essentially, to take off the battlefield. That's about as far as we've gone with stating what our strategic goal is, which I think is a big problem that we have with the GWAT, is we never really said what our strategic goal was. Obviously, there was get bin Laden and make sure the homeland isn't attacked. But I just remember being in Iraq, being like, well, what's the goal here? Like, we're building a government. So same thing. We didn't really learn that lesson. We haven't stated our strategic goal. The Israelis, as critical as I am of our relationship with the Israelis have a very clear strategic goal. And that is to take out this regime lock, stock, and barrel. That's to get rid of the Ayatollahs, the clerical class that rules over, and then also the IRGC, which is a huge lift. It's a big country. Those institutions are massive. They've got a lot of support, but that's the Israelis' goal. Now, the Israelis don't really care necessarily if that happens and Iran then slips into chaos and the Straits of Hormuz remains inflamed and there's a migration crisis and there's an ongoing war. The Israelis don't care about that. They care that the IRGC and the Ayatollahs can no longer fund their proxies or cause them problems inside of Israel. So again, you've got us footing the bill, doing the majority of the combat, doing the dying, doing the fighting. We have a very, very murky strategic objective, whereas the Israelis are driving this. They're driving essentially our commitment of combat power. They're driving us having people lose their lives. They have a very clear strategic objective. And this is why I say the number one thing we have to do in order to get out of this is to restrain the Israelis and get our relationship with Israel straight. Otherwise, it's all going to be for naught. And
That's a pretty bold statement right there, honestly. I'm not going to lie. And it seems like he's on the right path. He's pretty much got a very good point, but how accurate it is, I guess we're going to have to figure this out. What do you guys think, chat?
we're going to continue to get sucked in further and further.
I mean, if we're attached hip to hip with them, I mean, it's got to be the same goal, right?
You would think, but it's not.
Is it just not articulated, or is it really not?
I feel like it's truly not, and the Israelis don't have a hard time articulating what their goal is.
Oh, I mean us articulating.
Yeah, so we just list off the tactical punch list of things we want to bomb to take out so that the Iranians don't have any more. And to me, that's not a real strategic goal.
You know, I want to bring out this up. You had a really good article in the Washington Post. I think it released today. But you were talking about some strategy here, and that made me think the potential deployment of U.S. ground troops makes me very nervous.
Yeah.
Citing recent reporting that the president is considering seizing Karg Island, Iran.
Commenting about Trump's Rob Rayner post, while it was an insensitive post, it would have been insincere to talk about how much he liked him. It was authentically Trump. Okay, so Trump liked Rob Rayner?
Iran's main hub for oil exports. This is you quoted. I just think that would be a disaster, Kent said, of deploying U.S. troops there. It would essentially be giving Iran a bunch of hostages on an island that they could barrage with drones and missiles.
Okay, so allegedly, no, Donald Trump did not like Rob Rayner based on statements made in December 2025. Following the death of the director, Trump expressed strong dislike for Rayner, describing him as deranged and stating he was not a fan in any way, shape, or form.
Are you the only fucking person up there that's thinking straight? Because that's exactly what would happen. 100%. You're putting U.S. service members in a fucking fishbowl for Iran to kill. Yeah. Because they're stranded on a fucking island.
Yeah, I mean
this is our strategy.
Yeah,
who came up with this fucking?
Devious Chris has joined the chat.
Fucking strategy.
It sounds like
Trump.
It sounds like Lindsey Graham. I mean, Lindsey Graham was on the Sunday shows yesterday talking about how great it would be. It would be just like Iwo Jima. I mean, just insanity. And I mean, I don't think the people who are pragmatic and are expressing their concerns, I don't believe they're being listened to. Now, obviously, the administration will push back and say, no, we're doing robust planning and we're hearing all voices, et cetera. But when I see ideas like that floated, and there's much worse ones out there as well, basically most of the formulas for putting boots in the ground inside of Iran are problematic, I guess is too late of a way to put it. They're bad plans.
They've already stated they want us to do it. They're ready for it.
100%. I mean, that would be handing Iran basically a strategic victory. Because once they get our troops on the ground there, they're going to be able to kill some of them. We're going to take losses. And then we fall back into that cycle. Once we take losses somewhere, we say, oh, no, now we can't leave. We have to stay to avenge our fallen. It can't be all for nothing. We have to stay. We have to keep fighting. We saw this over and over again in the GWAT. Every single time we talked about any kind of withdrawal in Iraq or Afghanistan, it was the same argument. We've lost too much here. There's still more that we could do. So, I mean, in terms of the Krog Island, that makes me nervous because I have heard so many people like Lindsey Graham and others that are not military people, that are not in the Pentagon, that are not reading intelligence every day, talk about it very flippantly. Like, oh, we'll just take that island. We'll just take their oil. I want to tell you guys, like, it's not 2003 anymore. You can't just put guys there and they'll occupy it. Like, there's ballistics, there's drones. They would be sitting ducks in that area. And as a matter of fact, like you said, the Iranians would probably be like, please take the island. We'll roll out the red carpet for you guys.
I mean, do I need to read your bio again? Why is he taking advice from Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and whoever else that's just career bureaucrats?
This is the problem.
And then you got a guy like you in there with tons of experience.
Yeah, when does Trump say nothing? I think he could have a conversation with anyone, anything about anything. He is quite the linguist.
In war.
Conversational superstar.
In intelligence.
Yeah. And there's others too. There's plenty of us in there that can give him much better advice. I just hope the president reflects, and I know he's mad at me. I hope he reflects, and I hope he looks at the advisors he has around him currently that got him to the state that we're in right now, because we're not in a good state. He knows that, and he needs to start listening to people that are going to give him better advice that can give us a clear pathway out of this.
Who are some people that would give him better advice other than yourself?
Vice President DNI Gabbard and their teams, I think, are absolutely key.
The Vice President and the DNI.
Yeah, what about instead of division or dividing people, trying to bring people together to, if you have more people together on the same game plan, you can make things happen so much more. Imagine how efficient and how effective. Just think about that. Imagine if every single person didn't care about left or right or this or that. Obviously it's not too realistic, but imagine if everyone was just like working towards a common goal. Like, how amazing would that be?
And the DNI, yeah. Yep. And there's good people at the Pentagon that can give you options.
So he's not taking advice from his own vice president?
I don't know. I wasn't at the vice president's level. I think they have a good relationship. Based on what I've seen and based on what we've seen in the public sphere, he has been taking more advice, obviously, from Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, David Gillespie. I don't think I've had anyone in the chat in the last 5 days who actually likes Lindsey Graham. If you do like anyone in the chat, if you do like Lindsey Graham in the chat, anyone, please just shout it out. No one's gonna hate on you, or don't. You don't have to, but it'd be cool to see, just to kind of get like a public assessment of like how many people actually like or support Lindsey Graham.
From Ted Cruz, from Mark Levin on TV, than he has been from people who may say, "Hey,
Mark
sir."
Levin on TV. That's who he's getting advice from. Fucking.
In terms of how easy and great of an idea this will be. I mean, so the media ecosystem, they're not giving him tactical military advice, but they were, I believe, in my opinion, a big part of echoing the Israeli talking points about no enrichment. You have to strike now. If you strike now, you'll be a hero. There was also this false narrative basically that said, like, hey, because the people were on the streets in January, if you take a couple strikes right now and you really hammer them, the rest is going to be easy. It's going to be a cakewalk. The people are going to rise up. They're going to overthrow the regime. They're going to love you. They're going to cut a deal. It's going to be quick and easy like Venezuela was. I think Venezuela did a lot to give us some false confidence in how quick and easy a regime change, regime modification, whatever you want to call it, can be.
Mr. Lindsey Graham, not Miss Lindsey Graham, Starbound One, thank you for joining in on the chat.
So people like Levin, people on Fox, New York Post, New York Times, etc. A lot of those talking
Well said, David. Well
heads,
said.
Coincidentally, not so coincidentally, a lot of them were the same people who talked us into the Iraq War, convinced him how quick and easy this would be. But I mean, to your point, I think if he took some more advice from Vice President, from DNI Gabbard and their teams, I think we'd be in a much better spot, and I think we'd be able to carve our way out of this mess.
Man, Wow. How many troops do we have over there right now? Waiting. Is it 2,500
honestly,
Marines on you?
I don't know. I mean, I see what you see on the news. I'm disconnected from all that.
How many has Israel sent?
We got a little bit of an argument about the E-Files Islands and President Trump coming up after this.
Far less than us. Most of their military operations are taking place in Lebanon. They're doing a lot of air support and power projection.
No worries, Starbound One.
Via air, which is heavily funded by us.
Are they talking about sending ground force?
If they could, it'd be tiny. They just don't have. I mean,
Israel. So we'll do it.
So we would have to do it.
Oh,
yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I mean,
we'll do it for them.
They could do a commando raid or something. That'd be about it. But in terms of any kind of meaningful hold ground, even for a limited amount of time, that would have to be American boots.
Oh, okay. That's kind of what I thought. But I'm getting angry, Joe.
I can tell. I hear you, man.
Really
I hear you.
Fucking angry. But oh man, it just no new wars. It just echoes in my head all day long.
Yeah.
And here,
no new wars. Mr. Darcy 44. Just because Joe Kent is influenced by media, he's projecting that onto Trump. Not credible info. Thank you for the chat, buddy. Thank you for the chat.
Here we are, right back in war.
Completely avoidable. And I pray, again, he listens to some of the voices that can get him out of this. I think there's still time, but this is very bad, and this could get worse. And I think platforms like yours are important because people like you, big podcasts. I think you guys brought a lot of people out to vote for President Trump, and I think it's really important that all the people that are watching this show and all the other podcasts call their senators, call their representatives, make their voice heard, because there is, again, that media ecosystem that kind of exists oddly in the White House. We've got to penetrate through that. They were listening during the campaign, and I think they'll listen again if people take this as a call to action.
No matter where you're watching the Sean Ryan Show.
Wild. So is this actually the Kent you are talking about?
You are all about I guess me and Andrew, you are all about culture wars which spread hate and divide our country. You used your show to promote Trump because you're dumb enough to be brainwashed by a con man. Now you're going to have to come to terms with not only helping get a predator criminal, con man, grifter elected, but also with the fact that you will forever look like a dumbass for falling for his bullshit. So you wrote that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It is.
Because, yeah.
What do you mean predator?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you mean predator criminal?
I mean, yeah, all things point to that. I mean,
Nothing points to that.
Should we bring up all of the things?
Sure.
I mean, just the fact that he said he'd drain the swamp and bring...
That has nothing to do with being a predatory criminal.
He was barred from even having a charity in New York because of a fake charity, a
first,
fake
what
university.
Do you mean by predatory criminal? What does that mean, predatory?
He's predatory. Like he went into the dressing rooms of...
Devious Chris. Did not know about that. All right.
Of Miss Universe, where there are minors and
no, Miss USA.
Yeah, whatever.
No, there's no minors there. That's an adult beauty pageant.
It starts at 16, but also it doesn't matter if it's teenagers dressing and basically bragged about getting a pass because he owns it, that he can go and see all these beautiful women changing and stuff, and he gets a pass.
Yeah, he's running a beauty pageant for beauty and gets to see beautiful. That's crazy to me.
What? That's so. Why would you? Watching women change is not predatory to you without their consent. What? And like him.
Without their consent?
It's without their consent.
And how many of these beauty queens have come forward and said that Donald Trump was in there spying on them without their consent?
There's a lot of stories from people that said that they stopped going to the pageants because of the
name one
of the I don't know the names.
Name one.
I've seen several interviews of how they were treated in the pageant, and it connects with Jeffrey Epstein and the whole modeling world, and it was a different time. There was a lot of
Is this not the time to light up the chat?
And there was a lot of creepy shit going on, and several, like 26 different women came forward saying that they
all frauds.
Oh my God! See, that's where. See, this is where the Epstein class comes in. Is rich people never have consequences for everything, and they say, oh, people are doing it for power, for money, or political reasons. But a lot of these people came forward way before he was political.
Which ones?
The 13-year-old that.
You mean the one that's not credible?
Who proved that she wasn't credible?
The she same did when she retracted her claim.
No, it showed. There's an interview that shows.
Who's more entertaining to talk to? This person over here on the right, or these two mannequins in the middle?
Her lawyer saying
this is the At Whatever podcast. Let's see if I can show you their At Whatever clips, but that's Andrew Wilson and Brian Atlas. Very, very fun and entertaining podcast. More towards conservative leaning.
The reason she retracted is because she's getting threats and is scared.
Oh, yeah. What's he supposed to say? She retracted because she's a fucking liar.
But
Lawyers don't do that.
But there's also proof of all of the...
Yeah. Mr. Darcy, 44. That whole modeling world, it's so weird, dude. So weird.
Epstein survivors are still now
what's the proof?
Getting threatened.
What's the proof that Trump, in any way, shape, or form, was involved with a cover-up of a organization? Because that's where you're going, right?
Because his actions are proof, and he's in there's still just a small portion of.
What's the proof?
Redacting stuff that should not be redacted.
That's done mostly 90% of the redactions. Plus, you can go to Michael Tracy's Twitter to track this. Most of the redactions in the Epstein files are because victims demand them, and because
that's not what the victims are saying.
Which ones?
For what?
Which ones are even victims? Virginia Giuffre was not a victim.
Yeah, I don't have.
She claims she was a victim, but she's a chronic liar. She's a fucking chronic liar, and that's documented. The whole
Republican Party is like trying. Yeah, he's legit. He said there was no. What did he say? Accomplices? Not accomplices. What's the word that they're using? Oh, he said that.
Devious Chris 3012, without their consent, 3 testified about his behavior at the events mentioned. Odd Toker 8450, he is a predator. He sexually assaulted many women. I can grab women by the so obviously you guys approve of predators.
No one else was involved in sex trafficking, and there's proof.
We don't have any evidence of any sex trafficking.
Yes, there is.
Okay, tell me who was sex trafficked.
That's a pretty broad statement. I don't know if you're kind of just grouping everyone in as like one type of thing from trying to find truth in some footage over here.
Their names are redacted.
So your evidence is you don't have evidence.
The evidence is that Pam Bondi and what's his name?
Cash Patel.
Cash. They under oath said that there was not any accomplices or a list of any kind. And Thomas Massey.
IFKQ. He walked into Miss Teen USA without wearing clothes and bragged about how he gets away with things like that. That's wild. Is that real? Is that do you have any like footage, or can you cite that? Love to see more about that. Not actually see it, but like to know that it's actually accurate.
Says differently. He's seen the files. He said he's willing to say the names.
The same Thomas
himself.
Massey who, along with Ro Khanna, decided.
Remember, she votes. Scary. James Peasy has entered the chat. I'm encouraging everybody to vote independent. Remember, she votes. Scary.
That they were going to unredact the names of 4 innocent people, and those innocent people got completely fucking inundated, according to their lawyers, with death threats and everything else, because they were assuming that they were part of a massive pedophilic cult that doesn't exist.
Yeah. The law that they put saying that no.
Sean Sirek, 6540. Yet Dems have no problem with Biden. Dun, 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 dun. Bad thing to his own daughter. Dang. Shots fired. Boom, boom. Goodness gracious.
People accept that we're victims, like the women, children.
What
are
victims?
allowed to be.
What victims?
Don't have to memorize.
Because listen, I'm just going to tell you right now. Here's what we have for evidence. You have.
I have KQ Howard Stern 2005-ish Trump interview. Oh, thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Zero evidence.
Yeah, because Trump's covering.
Make sure y'all subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're going live every day of 2026, and we're just building the best community on earth over here. So thank y'all.
It up.
Covering how? How is he covering it up? There's redactions.
Breaking the law of the Epstein Transparency Act.
Here's what Trump's in the files doing. Trump is in the files assisting law enforcement against Ghislaine Maxwell. That's all that he's in the files doing wrong. Period. Is assisting law enforcement.
In 2006 or 2007, whenever he made a statement saying, "Oh, I'm glad, that you're doing this investigation, blah 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 blah," but instead he cut off Epstein from his life. But then the Epstein files show that like up to 2016 that he was still in contact and a few times hung out with Epstein. So
first of all, this is insanity. Let's back up. Let's start with this. Who are you accusing Donald Trump of? Are you accusing him of being a PDF?
I say that there's either he's a pedo protector, which is I would say 99% likely.
Now give me your evidence. Your best piece.
Which is absolutely horrible. Goodness gracious. Please bring some evidence. Come on, man. Woman. It, they, them, that.
Piece of evidence. What is it?
His actions.
His actions. Come on, dude. What a weak argument.
All of the actions.
So what's your best piece of evidence?
Saying that it was a Democratic hoax.
First of all, the Democratic hoax.
James Peasy, she is totally unprepared for this. Yeah.
Is that they're calling this guy and he knew it, by the way. He knew that the second the files were released, because of all the redactions, Democrats are going to run and say that he's part of a pedophilic ring, even though we have no evidence of that at all.
We don't have the evidence because they won't give it to us.
So wait a second. So you don't.
So if they don't have the evidence, that means that she's like working on direct assumptions. Like she's not actually. That's just saying like, oh, this person has like blonde hair. That person must run fast. It's like, where's your evidence? Where's the images of that person training, doing sprint training, running, exercising, eating healthy, sleeping well? Like, what are you talking about? Come on. Show me the footage. Show me the proof.
Don't know.
I think that protecting pedophiles, hanging out with pedophiles.
Yeah.
Glendon Taylor 7651 with a W in the chat. She is as confused as a 2-bill woodpecker in a rock quarry. Oh my gosh, in a pile of rocks. Oh man. Make sure y'all subscribe, because You're getting some amazing content like this. We're going live every day of 2026. Thank you so much, Glenn and Taylor, for the laugh, man.
Add all of the women that have came forward.
Which ones? Which ones do you find credible? Which ones?
I find them all credible until we see until we actually see what and how the investigation actually name them uncredible, because it's the same people.
They did name them uncredible.
The same people who gave Epstein the sweetheart deal?
No,
are those the ones?
No, this is FBI investigators who are investigating this. First of all,
the FBI that lied on the stand
about
there being no co-conspirators.
Who were the co-conspirators?
Massey says there's at least 6 of them that he's uncovered so far.
Okay,
and he's going to name them. It has to be in the Senate to legally name them.
Oh, got it. So there are no co-conspirators that you can name. You just made it up.
Because they won't give them to us. But
right.
I've listened to Thomas Massey and all the other people that have read the files are saying that.
Here's the thing.
And if you take MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene
I know for
came
sure
out.
that you're a PDF. I can't prove it, though, because law enforcement won't give me the evidence I need to show you that you're a PDF.
In his own words, through several interviews throughout the years, all of the women that came forward, the girl that said she was threatened.
Which one of those girls do you find the most credible?
I mean, I'd say all of them.
No, which one specifically? Give me one name of any of those girls that you found credible.
I don't know their names.
You don't know anything about
Johnson,
it? You don't know nothing about it?
Or she is like a termite in a yo-yo.
Kate, what? Do you have every name memorized?
I don't need to. I'm not making the claim.
I'm following the actual evidence that
what evidence?
He's covering up for his friends.
Show me the evidence. Where is it? Where can I look at it?
The lies.
What lies?
Not that there even is co-conspirators. That there is that. Yeah.
So your evidence
saying that
is no evidence.
Said he never went on the plane. He said he lost. He stopped. He banned Epstein from.
He did ban Epstein from his properties. Not only that, he worked with law enforcement.
He didn't work with them. He made a statement. Which someone who's covering up would do exactly that.
Yeah. Why didn't Biden release the Epstein files?
He's.
Good question. We got to check to see if that's actually accurate. Let's see. Looking brown to me. I don't know if they're brown or not. Let's see. How big can we get? Might be hazel, might be brown.
Directly involved with that. No, he's not a pedo. There's no proof of that yet.
There's no proof that Trump is. You just made it up.
I didn't make it up. There's women who have come forward who said he did this thing.
And which ones did you find the most credible?
The girl that retracted her statement.
You found her, and why did you find her credible? The one who retracted her sworn statement?
Because she was a minor and it directly involved Epstein as well.
Hang on. Did she make the claims when she was a minor? Did she make the claims when she was an adult, when people were getting millions of dollars in cash settlements when they said that they were a victim of Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh, actually, new evidence have came out that have directly correlated her suing the Epstein estate around the time the claims were made and it being settled. I don't know if you've read that.
Again.
So, yeah, if she sued the Epstein estate and won during that time period,
nothing. There was all kinds of...
If there was no proof of that, then why would they have settled?
There was all kinds of settlements which came out of the Epstein saga, but here's what did not come out of the Epstein saga, at least thus far. There is not a single shred of evidence that Donald Trump participated in any sort of sexual activity with any minors at all, nor that he was part of some PDF ring, nor that there even was a PDF ring. And you know what evidence you have for this? Here's the evidence you have for this.
Emails.
I don't have evidence.
There's a lot of the emails.
Yeah. That's wild. That's wild. So, Tom Foley, Thank you for the chat. Imagine running all of this defense, man, and low-key he is guilty. It's so weird. All the files haven't even been released yet. So why is anyone speaking as if he is definitely innocent? That's true. That's a possibility. You never know.
Thing in the
point to
emails.
that.
Which things?
Can we look it up? Do you think I have it all memorized?
Go ahead. I actually want you to. We can go through them one at a time. You could show me the best evidence you have that Donald Trump's a PDF.
I didn't say there's direct evidence of it.
So no evidence.
He's at the.
So he's a PDF, but you have no evidence he's a PDF.
So allegedly she has no evidence. Does anyone in the chat have any evidence?
Okay. First of all, it's very hard to prove if someone raped you or not. If you compare it to murder cases where there's what they call it what's the type of evidence? Sorry, my brain's circumstantial evidence. All of
I don't know.
You can be convicted of murder without any actual DNA, without.
That's nice. What's the most credible piece of evidence you have Donald Trump's a PDF?
The women's statements that are connected
which
to
one
it.
did
Him being liable
Can we
of
go-
rape
can
through
you tell
our
me?
him being liable, his own words of how he talks to women. Him being held liable of rape. The way he civically liable of SA. Yes, he was by our courts.
You know what? I'll just grant you that Donald Trump has raped 300 women, let's say. He's raped them. He just did. I'm just going to, logically, I'll just say he did. What's your best piece of evidence that Donald Trump is a PDF and did anything
I don't know for sure he was a PDF, but I know he's a pedo protector.
Okay, show me how he's protecting PDFs.
Literally, the proof is what's happening with Epstein files.
What?
And the email.
What's the proof?
Him lying about him saying that he was going to be transparent, bring the Epstein files out.
He has brought the Epstein files out.
After being forced by their.
Make sure y'all subscribe, like, and turn on notifications because we're going live every day of 2026 and having an amazing conversation like we are right now. And in the chat, I'm trying to figure it out, man. What do you guys think? Is it real? Is it not real? Should she have some evidence, or should she just be like, you know what? Maybe I just don't know and I assume. Wouldn't that be better?
There was enough votes to where even if he
so
didn't.
Dan Bongino becomes the assistant deputy director of the FBI. He comes out, right? He's done now. He's back on his podcast. He says, you know why there's all these redactions? The victims want it. There's porn in it, right? And lawyers are suing for it. So what are you talking about?
Well, lawyers suing doesn't make it against the law.
Yeah, they can tie up redactions forever because they're victims.
If there's,
W in the chat. Doggle tamer. This girl has no ammo, just a gun, but no ammo. That's what it seems like.
They're supposed to, of course, edit out the people that are the victim, like the female.
And all sorts of information, which can point to what their identity is, which would be a massive redaction.
No. That's why you
look. I would love it. I would love it if you redacted. If they had unredacted files and could release them. I would love that.
But
I would adore it.
There's proof that they're redacting people that were guys that have nothing to do with the
I'll tell you
the survivors.
Let's try this instead of the conspiratard shit. Let me just ask you this.
It's not conspiracy.
Okay, name one of these people who you think is currently in government, who's a PDF because of the Epstein files that you've read.
I think they're pedo protectors.
Name one. No. That's not what I asked you. Name one who's a PDF. Which PDFs are they protecting?
I didn't say that there is.
Any answers, chat? Do you have any idea of what this is?
Which PDFs are they protecting?
The Epstein class.
Who are they?
They're donors.
What are their names?
Oh my God. The censorship in this chat is ungodly. Mind's mouth. Wait. Did you try to say something that you it didn't get through or what? Because usually if it doesn't get through on the lower part, you can kind of see it on the top part right around here. Trumpito. Yeah. Bunk Stravy 3882. That's wild. That's wild right there. For sure, man. Some people. Yeah. Yeah.
Openly boasted about.
Yeah, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure y'all subscribe. Turn on those notifications if you want to get notified, but we're building an amazing community over here. Would love to have you on board.
Controlling the United States.
And telling people point blank, just stating it, I control the United States. I control Donald Trump.
So the idea that I, in any ways that I boast that I control him, that's ridiculous. It's a lie. And I never, not only did I not say it, I don't think it.
So that's his position. He didn't say it. He doesn't think it, allegedly.
He would apparently like to control social media. Netanyahu and a group of pro-Israel influencers on the sidelines of the UN Assembly telling them that a Trump-backed deal for American investors to buy a share of TikTok could turn the platform into an Israeli weapon.
We're going to have to use the tools of battle.
Did you just hear that? Do you understand that?
You know, the weapons change over time, but we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're.
So wild. So wild. So the weapons have changed completely. Mind's mouth. Speaking of censorship, buddy.
Engaged. And the most important ones are in social media.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, I'm getting that image of Elon Musk just walking into that building with a sink. What does that mean? Let that sink in. New weapons, social media.
And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class TikTok.
TikTok. Bam, bam, TikTok.
TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it's it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one? That's most important. X. X.
Now, if that happens with X, I don't even know, bro. I think I don't think I'd ever get on the internet again. Just be like, dude, I'm done. I'm done with the internet. I'm gone. Oh, I'm gonna start farming. I have no idea, bro.
Yeah, that's very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon.
I don't know. I think like it's so important to have variety. You need information from all sides. You need to see take information from the left, from the right, from the up, from the down, from diagonal, and this and that, and then just try to find what the ultimate truth is and what makes sense and what can actually make your life better. That's kind of a pretty important thing to do, right?
Me and my girlfriend struggle with trying to be better servants of God with really high demand schedules. So do you just have any advice on that?
Are you honoring the Sabbath? There's your advice. It's not me shaming you. I used to be that way. 4 years ago, I was stressed out, anxious. Biden became president. It was the summer of 21. I was burned out. COVID burned me out. Voidapalooza burned me out. Biden burned me. It was a dark time. Remember that? Remember the summer of 21? Yep. It was just dark, right? They were arresting January 6ers. It was not the golden era. And I was burned out. And a pastor friend of mine said, well, Charlie, are you honoring the Sabbath? And I think that us not following the Sabbath is one of our greatest failures as Christians.
Alchemy Energy. Howard Lutnick is in the middle of this. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, and he's in the files? What in the world? I wouldn't doubt that about the Wikipedia thing. Don't want to say it, but I don't doubt it.
And some people say, are we bound to it or not? It's actually not the most important question. It's, if you're not doing it, you're missing out. Dedicate a day to God. Yep. Dedicate a day to worship. Give a day to Jesus. We in our family, we turn off my phone 1 day a week. I'm unreachable. And I don't know anything about you. I can guarantee that I might have a more higher demand schedule than you. Maybe, maybe not. I'm able to turn my phone off for 1 day a week. It says in the scriptures, for 6 days you shall work, and on the 7th day you shall rest, because you are no longer slaves like you were in Egypt. Only slaves work.
Yeah, as far as like trying to say someone is bad just because they're from like a certain country or a certain religion or, you know, certain physical appearance is not necessarily the smartest thing to do. Take into consideration that there's a lot of extremely good people in the world of all races and religions and all those types of things. So don't forget that. And maybe by a large majority, way more good people on earth than there are bad people. But unfortunately, there are bad people in every walk of life, every religion, every culture. So yeah, to like just overtly hate one whole culture because there's one extreme person who, you know, left a bad taste in your mouth. Just try to take a step back, take a thought, and just say, like, is it really worth it to just not like a whole culture or a people just because of one person?
Work 7 days, everybody. I encourage all of you to dedicate 1 day to Jesus. Turn off your phone. Spend it with family. You are not too important to stare at all your devices for 7 days. If you're feeling that you want to pour into your girlfriend, watch what happens, the magic power when both you turn off your phones for 1 day. Turn off your laptops for 1 day. And by the way, enough of this dating thing. Get married and have a bunch of kids. Okay, seriously.
Good idea. Great ideas, man. Great ideas.
These are brand new pictures released by CENTCOM of U.S. Navy FA-18 Super Hornets aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, preparing for a nighttime combat mission during Operation Epic Fury on Wednesday.
Epic Fury.
It comes as more U.S. troops arrive in the region and tensions reach a boiling point. Jonathan Hunt is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Mike. And with those thousands of extra troops arriving over the weekend here, there is growing thought that some sort of ground operation by the U.S. could come soon. In the meantime, the U.S. and Israel on one side and Iran on the other continue their attacks. An Iranian missile struck in southern Israel today, some sort of chemical facility, we believe, and it sent huge plumes of smoke rising into the air in that region. A lot of residents in that area were told to keep their windows closed because of the toxic smoke that was coming from that particular Iranian strike. CENTCOM, meantime, has posted more video of what they say are strikes against Iranian military and regime targets in Tehran and on the outskirts of the Iranian capital.
Amy Wagner, 8403. How you doing? Welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining in on here. Yeah, we're going live every day at 2026, so make sure y'all subscribe, like, and share if you want.
Now, those troops we were talking about, 2,500 Marines arriving aboard.
Devious Chris in the chat. Operation Island Man Fury.
The USS Tripoli, which is now, we are told, in the region. That does not mean a ground operation is happening. What it does mean is the president has a lot more options now at his disposal. As for Iranian officials, they continue to criticize and even in some cases mock President Trump's decision-making. Listen here to the spokesman for the IRGC.
At one moment, he speaks of negotiations, and shortly afterward, he decides to manage the war. This unbalanced and deceitful individual has inflicted extensive damage on the people of the United States, Europe, and countries around the world, especially the countries of West Asia.
And the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament.
IFKQ I'm streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, Kick, and Rumble, but I'm trying to I just started a new Facebook page so I can start streaming on there too. So if you guys would be so kind and everybody add that Facebook page, just follow it. I'll be able to stream on Facebook too, because how awesome would it be to have like the Facebookers on this as well. And then I'm using Restream to like bring all the chats together. And so if any of you guys have any questions with like streaming or lighting setups or camera stuff, let me know. I'm open to help.
Also,
and I will send the Facebook page link right now. If you guys can all add that and follow it, I love that. I love you. I need you. I need you all to subscribe if you're okay with that.
mocked President Trump today. I'm not sure why we're showing that video now. That was supposed to be at the top. That's the attack in southern Israel that I was talking about at the top. But back to the Iranian speaker. He talked today on X about the president, and he again mocked what the president is doing in this war. He said the American goal appears to now be opening the Strait of Hormuz, which he pointed out.
And here's the link to my Facebook on the chat. And it's also on my YouTube as well. So, yeah, please add that.
Was open before the U.S. and Israel started their bombing campaign. Mike?
Jonathan Hunt, live in Tel Aviv.
You are too kind, IFKQ. Too kind, too kind.
We will head back to you if there's breaking developments. Jonathan, thanks very much. Let's bring in Congressman Rick Crawford of the great state of Arkansas, also the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Mr. Chairman, welcome.
Thanks.
So we've got Marines heading to the region, 82nd Airborne heading to the region. What is your assessment of where we are in this military operation against the Iranian regime?
Well, the president has demonstrated a heck of a lot of backbone here where other presidents wouldn't. I mean, in my lifetime, we've seen Iran has been a pervasive threat since 1979. We've been at war for 47 years with Iran. And this is really the first president, and no disrespect to President Reagan, because I served under him in the military and had, very much respect for him. He took some initiative back in 1988, which was absolutely necessary, but didn't finish the job. And as a result, the Iranians continued to foment hegemony in the region, continue to act out on American targets, and so on. So this president has demonstrated it's over, and he's taken control. Now you see the strikes that you're showing on the air right now demonstrate the level of precision and the thousands.
Wild strikes.
Of targets that have been taken out as a result of this leadership. So I don't think Iran and their propagandists are in any position.
Oh man, there's like a guy running. Do you see that? Oh my gosh. Right there on the top left of the screen, right up here. Let's see how big the explosion is. Maybe he's all right. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Any position to be mocking the United States, and I would advise that they don't do that. In fact,
but that's war, man. It's not an easy thing.
If they asked my opinion, I would say you probably want to sit down and negotiate a deal, because this is not going to end well for you.
I want to play a clip from retired Navy Captain Brent Sadler, and I'll get you to react to it, sir.
Sure.
Down in here in the Straits of Hormuz, you've got several small islands that the
Speaking of Hormuz, here you go. The Snowman 414. If it's over, why is the strait closed? We will see.
previous regime, the Shah, actually took from UAE that control access from the Persian Gulf side to the Straits. This is one potential target of the Marines for insertion, and maybe even the Army forces to flow in afterwards. It's about building confidence that
by drop site news.
any threat will be dealt with. The Marines provide a lot of options, to include riding on the ships and providing point defense as the ships go through that strait as well.
What do you expect the mission will be of
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at those Lego videos.
the Marines and the 82nd Airborne there in the region? Or is it providing flexibility to the commander-in-chief?
I think this provides a heck of a lot of options to the president, no question about it. And if you think about what the Marines do, they're They respond quickly. They can do a variety of things, but they are basically there as the initial responder based on the president's orders if and when that becomes necessary. And they have about a 15-day window during which they operate and provide a complete complement of options to the president. And then we have the larger sustained force coming in behind potentially if that's necessary, indicated like the 82nd Airborne as an example, as a quick response force as well. So again, what this does is provide the president with more options, and it should send a pretty clear message to the Iranians that this is not the time to be mocking and tempting fate.
30 seconds, sir. Are you confident the United States can leave Iran in a much better place soon?
Ooh, what a good question. What do you think, chat? Is 5 years from now, is Iran going to be better than it is now or in a worse situation? I heard something about by 2028, Europe will no longer have dollars or euros anymore. Pretty bad sign, right?
Absolutely.
Or maybe it's a good sign. All right, he says absolutely Iran's going to be better.
This is right now rests in the hands of what's left of the Iranian leadership, which has been pretty well decimated and caused some pretty bad decision making over the course of the last month. But certainly this can end well if the Iranian people have the ability to rise up and take control of their country and see that they can engage in self-determination on their own terms.
House Intelligence Chairman Rick Crawford, grateful for your time today, sir. Thanks very much.
You bet. Thank you.
Be sure to like.
Oh, be sure to like. All right, I can do that. I can do that. I'm so quick with those requests. I can do that.
I am the candidate of peace. I am peace. People don't believe that. I am peace.
A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a man who wants to end wars.
Yeah, 100% right. End wars. Thank you, IFKQ.
Not start them.
We do not want war with Iran. We actually want peace. The Iran.
Oh, I was always wondering. Yeah. So that's cool. Can we be friends? I want to be your friend. Speaking of, we're going live every day at 2026. Make sure you subscribe, like, and do all those things. But yeah. I think the people that voted for Trump and Vance were voting for no wars and lower gas and oil prices.
Iranians are clearly not very good at war. Perhaps they should follow President Trump's lead and give peace a chance.
Kamala's campaigning with warmongers like Liz Cheney. How do you think that is? She picked
But politicians don't lie, so.
Liz Cheney, whose father virtually destroyed the Middle East. You know, Liz Cheney, she talks big, oh, I want war. She always wants war. Every time I was with her in the White House, we should attack this nation, that nation. Nations that people never even heard of, we should attack. She's a big...
David, WK6MD, how you doing? Thank you for joining in on the chat. Your nose is growing? Dylan, 1213.
Big tough guy. She sits back in Washington, oh, we ought to go and attack Iran, Iraq. We're going to attack everybody. That's why I broke up with her. All she wanted to do is go to war with everybody. These war hawks, they want to draft your kids to die in wars, and they will never fight themselves. You know, we'll stay around the country for 15 years, just bomb the hell out of everybody, make everybody miserable. Nobody knows why we're there, you know, the wars that never...
Buggle Magnum, 6213. Where were you, man? Where were you, man? We need to hear about this. We need to know it's cap if it is cap. My goodness, man. Thank you for joining in on the chat, man.
These endless wars that we've been in, I've gotten us out of so many. We don't want to get into wars. We're tired of fighting. I'm the only president in the last 84 years that didn't start a war. Under Trump, we will have no more wars. No more wars. No more wars.
It's all good, guys. No more wars. We're good. We're good. Not gonna have any wars. We're gonna make peace. We're gonna be friends. Am I live? Are you live? My goodness. Yeah, make peace again. Make peace again.
We will have prosperity and peace. We will have prosperity and we will have peace.
Remember, I'm the president of peace.
They said he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. He's going to start a war. I said,
hopefully your reach gets better, bro.
No. My rhetoric is going to keep us out of wars, and that's what happened.
8 wars? No, come on, 8. Underachiever, man. Only 8 wars? What are you guys doing?
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
Oh man. Well, what's a positive? Like one positive. There has to be one positive about the situation. Like one really great thing about, unfortunately he lied about the wars and the gas prices, but he's a great speaker. He is a fantastic speaker.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate.
Dude, this is so trippy, dude. Whoever sent this to me, dude. IDKF or IKDF? Thank you so much. What in the world, dude? This is past him talking to President him, right?
He's weak and he's ineffective. I believe that he will attack Iran sometime prior to the election because he thinks that's the only way he can get elected. Isn't it pathetic?
So wild, so wild. Oh my gosh. He ended 8 wars, they say, but seemed to me he has gone out of his way to try to start a war, to hide his cult and friends in the files. They will blow us all up rather than admit all the rotten themselves, maybe. I'd even put those two together. Buggle Magnum 6213. Well said, dude. Well said. Oh my gosh. All right.
Be the number one focus of your presidency?
Oh, Zach, it has to be the economy. We need more good jobs with rising incomes. We've got to make the economy work for everybody, not just those at the top.
We need to take a break. We just need to have a word from our sponsor. Okay.
Washington is broken. The truth is, too many politicians are totally controlled by special interests and lobbyists. We're going to make America great again. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
He approves the message.
Why would you play a commercial for my opponent in the middle of our interview?
He paid me in steaks.
I'd be afraid to eat them if I were you.
It's a good cut of meat. I think it's part of the asshole. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Mrs. Clinton. We should stay in touch. What's the best way to reach you? Email?
You've got mail.
If you ever want a good laugh, Zach Galifianakis is hilarious. Oh, man. And since I closed that one, where did that one go? Yeah. Oh, it's here. No, this one.
العربية شوفونا. يا عم بننزل، احنا بلدنا زيكم.
Human beings, just like you.
لو مش زيكم.
We cannot find a way to live nor to eat or drink.
هاليوم عمي ما نعرفش من وين الطريق، ولا بنعرف أكل، ولا شرب، يعني احنا شعب.
We are the people of Gaza, standing firm until the day of judgment. And I say to the Israeli army, you can't break the people of Gaza. The people of Gaza draw their strength from God. Their strength comes from weapons. Our strength is in God. Our teacher told us the Israeli strength is nothing. We are stronger than them. When we came at them at the fence like this, I'll just make it smaller so I don't have to read this whole thing. Unless y'all like me reading this thing.
زي هيك خشينا عليهم بقوة باحتراق عليهم ما قدرونا احنا شعب عظيم بس نعمة كل بني ادم ولكل غزة ما نحول لانه محتل كذاب هذا الصحابة اللي زيكم هزم وحماس نزلت الاخوة كلها نزلت كل العربية ما حدش رد عليهم الان توجهوا العصابات الان وين غزة بالشمال الجنوب وسط القطاع وين ما تتخيل محاصرة غزة بس قوتهم ما يقدرونا احنا شعب عظيم نقول للشباب ما يروحوش لان عن ابوها الكون ولا تيجي منهم ذل يا بتيجي باحترام يا بلاش هاي امي راحت وقبل اخوي في هذه الحرب راح والله يعلم من بده يروح الحين مش ضامنين ارواحنا بس اقول لامريكان واقول لكل دولة عربية احنا يا عم ما بننزلش ما بننقهن كرامتنا تفتحوا لنا المعبر حيقى الله بداش نروح تبعتكم يا الله يخلف عليكم بتكون ماشي على الخط زي ما بيقولوا لك كذابين ماشيين على الخط تلاقي اللي جنبك بيموت واللي او الامك بتموت الاخوك بتموت يا راجل اذا الدكتور مش مسموح له يموت تموت الصليب.
It's so wild, man. So wild. So wild to see this stuff. And he's saying like even doctors who are not allowed to be killed are being killed. Man, heavy situation.
الراجل بيقصبوهم بيقصبوا ايش اقول لك الاسعافات تعاون الدفاع المدني ما بخلوش ايش الا يقصبوه هذا وين والله وانتم.
There's nothing they have not bombed. Where is this happening?
والله لو
If it were one place in Israel and they threw a rocket at them, the world would turn upside down. Are we really that cheap to you? Man, goodness gracious. If a dog dies in Israel, they turn the world into chaos. Someone asks, Ahmad, did you lose someone today? Someone said, what made you go? He says, I lost my mother and my brother today. Oh my God. We cannot believe what is happening. All the people you see around you, they can't find a single bite to eat. Where? By God, our Lord never allowed this. Have mercy on those on earth and he in heaven. We'll have mercy on you. Have mercy on us on earth so he will have mercy on you from the sky. Thank you for joining in on the chat. What do you guys mean by the kid is brainwashed and propaganda? Just trying to figure this out. Are you talking about because he's like I don't know what you guys are talking about. Brainwashing. Yeah. Please let me know.
مش عارفين رحنا على الكويت رحنا على مستشفى ناصر رحنا على الصل رحنا على الأبطانة وين ما تتخيل لما بقول لك تصير هدنة قبل ما تصير بيوم بقتلوا ولا مليون من الشعب مش من حقنا نعيش زي الناس زي دول الأوروبية زي دول العربية.
أحمد احكي لي إيش صار معكم من أول
ما بلش اطلاق النار طلعنا من الواحدة بالليل امي طلعت من 8 ابوي ايش قال له امي قال لها يا بنت خليك ما بدناش نروح قالت له لا امي يا ابو نبيل ما فيش حدا نطلع من البلاد رحنا توجهنا من خان يونس هذا امي على 8 وصلت العلم دور العلم تاع رفح ابوي لحقه على الوحده بالليل هاي الشنطه وهاي الكيس الصحيح هاي الكيس هاي الكيسين واحد لابوي وواحد لي هاي ولا مسكين اي شيء ولا مسدس ولا
What did he say? We weren't holding anything, not even a pistol. And we weren't going to fight. We are civilians, not soldiers. If one of them were a soldier and was killed, you'd ask, why was he targeted? Would you allow your children to be treated like this? So what happened when you arrived? When we arrived, we were waiting. Gunfire started in the safe zone. We didn't know what was going on there. We were just civilian children. There wasn't a single soldier who went there. Not even one. No one even scratched them. They started kicking people out for no reason. My mom headed towards Alam. Arrived there at 2 a.m. And by 3 a.m. she was extinguished. Now my dad is calling my brother Abdul. He's shouting Abdul, but there's no reply. He feels that my mom is extinguished and my brother is around. But no one responded. No one said anything. No one did anything. Now we're searching for them among the people. And my dad's searching for them among the people. In Rafah, we can't find them. Where are the Arab countries to hear us? We raise our voices to the Arab countries.
So much of what's happening today in the AI.
Oh, man. Talk about heavy. Man. What about just finding peace and reverse engineering from peace? That would be the best thing, honestly. So wild. So wild, people. Yeah, that kid is so young and has so much to say and has so much to overcome just to like be able to function extremely well with like low levels of hate in his heart and in his soul, you know, like that's, and just the amount of character it will take for him to be able to forgive. It's so wild, man. It's so wild. Just think about the peace. How can there be peace? Yeah, how can there be peace? So, yeah, everybody, please subscribe, like, share, turn on notifications, because we're going live every day at 2026 and trying to find the truth and trying to make this world a better place somehow.
Industry is extremely inhumane.
But this is me playing devil's advocate. And logically, it could be the case that the civilization that accelerate their research with AI is going to be the superior civilization.
No, it's not. This is a prediction that you're making, right?
Elon's making, Zuckerberg's making,
Yes.
Altman's making.
And do you know what the common feature of all of them is? They profit enormously off of this myth. You know, I have all of these internal documents showing that they're purposely trying to create that feeling within the public so that
I'm out in the chat. How you doing, buddy?
they can extract and exploit and extract and exploit.
So what do we do about it?
We need to break up the empires of AI. You know, I've been covering the tech industry for over 8 years. I interviewed over 250 people, including former or current OpenAI employees and executives. And I can tell you that there are many parallels.
Gaza makes me feel that my biggest problems are very trivial. W for Ahmad Hikam, dude. Yeah, seriously, man. Puts so much into perspective. Yeah, and sometimes I don't even want to like think about it or go too deep into it because you're like, go too deep into it. It's just like almost a spiral. And just want the best, man, but
between the empires of AI and the empires of old, right? Like, lay claim to the intellectual property of artists, writers, and creators in the pursuit of training these models. Second, they exploit an extraordinary amount of labor, which breaks the career ladder because
breaking the career ladder, absolutely.
someone gets laid off and then they work to train the models on the very job that they were just laid off in, which will then perpetuate more layoffs if that model then develops that skill. And when they talk about that there's going to be some new jobs created that we can't even imagine, a lot of the jobs that are created are way worse than the jobs that were there. And then there's the environmental and public health crisis that these companies have created and how they're able to also spend
Roots for us. Thank you for the laugh. Even though it's a horrible joke, the Gaza real estate market is hot. I think I can get some hate on this and I'm okay with it, but if there's a situation where you can laugh at anything, like this is one of the worst situations in the world, but I will never miss an opportunity to laugh and just find some joy in anything. And I recommend you guys doing that too, because laughing is so important. And even though like you don't want that to happen or anything of that to happen, but just to have like a little bit amount of joy, it's like, it's cool, I think. But what's happening in Gaza is absolutely not cool, but I like jokes. Jokes are cool.
hundreds of millions to try and kill every possible piece of legislation that gets in their way and will censor.
Ooh, AI will kill legislation that gets in their way. Bye-bye filibusters.
Researchers that are inconvenient to the empire's agenda. But what I'm saying is not that these technologies don't have utility. It's that the production of these technologies right now is exacting a lot of harm on people. But we have research that shows that the very same capabilities could be developed in a different way that doesn't have all of these unintended consequences. So let's talk about all of that.
Strike at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia destroyed a $500 million US E-3G Sentry airborne early warning and control aircraft. Now, the attack targeted the rear radar dome, which houses critical surveillance systems, resulting in the total loss of the aircraft. Now, this marks a significant blow to the U.S. early warning capabilities in the region. And for some more perspective, we have Siddhan. Siddhan, now they have destroyed this US-born aircraft, which is a very technologically superior aircraft. How do you see this?
Well, that's right. So this is what the Russian media is reporting, Harsh. The first shot of obliterated, irreplaceable US early warning $500 million aircraft. Iran appears to have targeted key rear housing surveillance radar in Saudi Arabia. In fact, this says that pictures show, in fact, these are the pictures, correct. We have pictures here for our viewers. So these pictures show the total loss of of this E-3G Sentry Airborne Early Warning and Control (AVAC) aircraft with the U.S. Air Force's 52nd Air Control Wing based out of Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. Following yesterday's Iranian ballistic missile and drone attack on Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, the strike appears to have purposefully targeted the most important part of the E-3, the being rear of the aircraft, which hold its rotating radar drone containing several sensitive instruments, including antennas for the E-3's surveillance radar system. So again, a proof, perhaps, put out by the Iranian and Russian media.
Bro, you are peeking. I don't need to hear peeking when you're chatting, dude. Ciao.
You said in Iraq and Afghanistan, the U.S. military killed more civilians than the IDF did in Gaza. You just told me that. I never heard that before. And my question is, how do you know that? What are those numbers?
And I'm... Give me the facts. We were just talking about this earlier. Give me the facts.
Trying to explain to you that there were extraordinary efforts to keep
You
the
don't
number
know the numbers,
of
do you?
I think they were tens of thousands. I'll get them for you.
Well, you brought it up. That's the only reason I'm pushing you.
But I'm wearing a flag. I've worked for a country, and you pretended or alleged that somehow I'm not loyal to this and that I'm criticizing my own country,
they did
and
a
I'm
better
not.
job than the U.S. military.
How did Huckabee say that when... So many contradictions at the same time. Unreal. Like within seconds, right? In seconds. Ariandel Matrius. Yeah, seriously, which one's first, man? Which one is first?
Iraq and Afghanistan. And I said, what are the numbers? And you said, I don't know. So on what basis are you...
If you don't know the numbers, how do you know anything?
Making the claim that the IDF in Gaza spared more civilians than the U.S. Army and Marine Corps did in Afghanistan and Iraq. Why are you saying that? Like, on what basis are you saying that?
From the conversations that I've had with the people who fought there. And I don't have the exact numbers for you.
You got to have those exact numbers. If you're talking to Mr. Tucker Carlson, you better have those numbers. Honestly, you better have those numbers.
Elon Musk just called out Bill Gates over his USAID comments.
Who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, well...
Oh my gosh, dude. Boss man Musk. Goodness gracious, dude. No time for jabs, just throwing haymakers, dude.
He said he regrets those, and
He says he regrets it. Elon, another haymaker. I would not let that dude babysit my kids.
He spent a lot of his own money on philanthropy around the world over the years. Have you looked at the data to check if he might be right that the cuts to USAID might cost millions of lives?
Yes. I'd like him to show us any evidence whatsoever that that is true or it's false. What we find...
Musk is asking for the evidence. Huckabee, he's just throwing words out. Is there a difference?
Is an enormous amount of fraud and graft.
Okay, let me put this example to you.
Very little of it actually gets to the kids.
Maybe Musk is talking about that dude that was on the previous video.
If anything at all.
Okay.
Well, it looks like all these screaming about...
You know, that's... Musk is mad because he wasn't invited. He's just sad. Oh, Lisa Ann, thank you for joining in on the chat. I think you're probably not alone there, honestly, but we're going live every day at 2026. So make sure y'all subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to get notified about the lives that we are doing every single day of 2026. And we're developing an amazing community here. Matt, 34, 31, 433. You never know. You never know if you can trust Tucker on CNN or Fox or any of those stations. You know, it's just, I think you just got to listen to each person in each conversation and try to find some type of where you can recognize truth or alignment within these thoughts or ideas. It's hard. It's really hard to see who's telling the truth and who is, you know, being paid to say something, like influencer of some sort, tech influencer on YouTube, you know.
But Nick Fuentes on the internet is finally dying down a little bit. It couldn't go on forever, though it seemed like it might. And that's a good thing because, after all, there's a lot else going on in the world, some of it important, and watching people day after day stand up to basically make the same point. I'm a good person, unlike him. Not that interesting or edifying or even really informative. I mean, we definitely learned that there are quite a few professional conservatives who are not that conservative in any sense that really matters. Some of them are fraudulent or sad or kind of stuck in nonprofit jobs because they can't get another, and your sympathy goes out to them. But listening to them talk day after day really didn't teach us anything. But it doesn't mean that there aren't lessons to be learned. In fact, there's one really important lesson, and this was really the reason to interview Nick Fuentes in the first place. And the lesson is that a lot of young men in America, mostly white but not exclusively, listen to Nick Fuentes really carefully. And the lesson that our professional bettors in Washington have drawn over the past few weeks is that means they're as bad as Nick Fuentes. They're Nazis too. But of course, they're not Nazis by and large. They're just American young people. And so the question is, and it's a pressing question if you care about the future of the country, why have they been listening?
You know, I always got to stop it for a funny laugh. Kindred Spirits 66. Tucker is a top-notch moron. I don't know why that one slaps so much. I can't say I agree with you, but I'll take a laugh any place, anytime, anywhere. And yeah, please, y'all, subscribe and turn on notifications to get some awesome comments like that one.
Listening to Nick Fuentes. Sincerely. Like, what is this? Why aren't they listening to somebody from the Heritage Foundation or the Daily Wire? Why do they believe Nick Fuentes more than they believe the people who think they ought to have a monopoly on the attention of young conservatives? That.
Matt, 34, 31, 433. Yeah, decision science. Don't listen to pro-persuaders. Try to see data, scenarios in black and white. Write them down. Don't listen. Look, absolutely, absolutely. Do your work. Do your work, 100%.
That is a really important question. And what does it say, not simply about their attitudes, but about the problems they face, the society they grew up in, the future they imagine for themselves? What does it say about all of that that Fuentes is so popular among young men? After all, young men really are kind of the basis of our hope for continuing as a country. So if they're off in some direction that you don't understand, it's probably incumbent on you to try to understand it to the extent you can. You know, it's hard to understand other people's motives, and it's even harder when they're in a different generation. But making a good faith effort to figure out what is this, well, that's on us. Us being, you know, everyone with a job who's not in that generation. All the beneficiaries of a stronger, more cohesive America, the America we grew up in, which doesn't exist anymore. It's our responsibility to look at newer generations and say, what's going on with them? Can we help in any way? If we care about our country, if we care about our own families, our children and grandchildren, we probably want to do that. And it's probably not enough to call them names. It doesn't work, for one thing. It just makes whatever we claim to dislike even stronger. There's one lesson of the Trump 2015 announcement and everything that's happened since then, the last 10 years, it's that. And the lesson, obvious.
What was Tucker's big 180? I don't know. I'm trying to. Are you talking about like the support with Trump? And
obviously, is that when every power center in the country declares war on you, you become a power center. It doesn't destroy you. It makes you stronger. It's certainly true for Donald Trump. Would he have become president in 2016 and 2024 if all the cool kids hadn't denounced him as a Nazi? Probably not. Would he have been reelected if the FBI hadn't raided Mar-a-Lago and gone through his wife's underwear drawer? We can debate it, but maybe not. Maybe this would be the Ron DeSantis presidency. Probably. So attacking people, particularly when you attack them ad hominem, when you don't try to deconstruct or rebut the arguments they're making, but just calling them names.
attacking
Nazi!
the person or the character.
That's counterproductive every single time. You expose yourself as hysterical and shallow, and you elevate them in the minds of everybody else. They're important enough to be yelled at by every trustee at the Heritage Foundation or whatever. They must be important. So again, it doesn't work, but it's also on a deeper level kind of immoral. It's immoral to dismiss the concerns of your countrymen as beneath consideration. I don't have to listen to you because you like some guy who's got ugly views. And by the way, it's not a defense of all of Fuentes' views. We interviewed him on the show and said it is totally immoral to hate Jews as a group because it's totally immoral to hate any group, period. That's always wrong.
Oh my gosh. Is this breaking news? Your lovely as Sass in he is under investigation by the CIA for possible being a foreign agent. Is that true? My goodness. And Ariana Del Matrios, support for the wars committed against the oppressed in Gaza is huge for me. He was supporting the wars in Gaza? Okay.
But it doesn't mean that everything Fuentes says is wrong. It's not wrong. And more to the point, what he says on the air and his huge popularity, which has only increased the more these people scream at him, says a lot about the people who are listening and their legitimate concerns and the factors in our society in America and the West that gave rise to their attitudes. Like, how did this happen? Let's, for once, in the last 20 years, look back and ask ourselves an honest question. How did this happen? Let's do what we didn't do when we withdrew from Afghanistan or declared a truce in Iraq or carted away the rubble from 9/11. We never asked, how did this happen? And no one was ever held responsible for allowing it to happen or the bad decisions that made it happen. Not one person. And so, of course, inevitably, disasters followed disasters. Because if you never take the time to take responsibility for what you've done or even understand it, you're apt to repeat it. It's the most obvious observation in the world. It's the basis of good parenting. It's why you make your kids apologize, of course. So let's, in the case of Nick Fuentes, focus not on Nick Fuentes, but on the people who watch Nick Fuentes. What kind of world have they grown up in? These young white men. Well, they've grown up in, over the last 10 years, a world that hates them. And not in a subtle way. Openly, with a Hutu-like directness and ferocity. They've grown up in a country that has systematically, in law, excluded them from the workplace, from education, from federal grants.
Absolutely. Ariane Del Matrios. Don't see that either, honestly.
And has told them again and again and again, no, we're not discriminating against you, and yes, you deserve it. Imagine growing up like that. And again, this isn't behind the scenes. This is way out in the open. And not only has it done exactly that to young white men, of course, white men being the one group who are officially excluded under DEI. There's only one, it's white men, white straight men. It's not whining. And by the way, this happens to be the one group in America who, by and large, have been taught for cultural reasons, don't whine. Don't talk about yourself so much. No one wants to hear your story. And whatever you do, don't be the victim. All of that's good advice, by the way. But this group has not only been excluded with the force of law by the Justice Department in every state and at every college and university, with maybe 3 exceptions. They've been mocked and attacked and lectured and harangued and screamed at. Every bookstore in America had books on display. Whiteness is the problem. Well, what if you're white? You know, what if you're like 19 and you're thinking about how do I make my way in this increasingly competitive, maybe even ruthless country? And everywhere I go, people are telling me I'm bad because of the way I was born. What effect would that have on you? And then you flip on the tube or the internet, and all these people with big jobs making big salaries who have the implied moral authority of their positions are telling you you're bad because of your skin color. And by the way, this is not a guess. Here's an example.
We have systemic racism in the United States of America. It exists today, and it's a white man's problem. White men are responsible for it, not black men.
And we have stood by to see mediocre, mealy-mouthed, snowflake white men who are incapable of taking critique, who are willing to dole out infamous repudiations of the humanity of the other, and yet they call us snowflakes, and they are the biggest flakes of snow to hit the earth.
Hypocrisy on, just so much hypocrisy on each side. So much hypocrisy.
American history is one in which white Americans, by and large, have been taught to have indifference or even contempt for black life. We have defined the country as a white nation where people of color are here on a guest pass.
1 in 3 Americans are racists. 1 in 3 Americans are terrified that this country by the year 2040 is not going to be majority white.
There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. And don't let it escape you that it is.
There has been no oppression for the white man in this country.
White men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed.
Wake up, white men. What the fuck is wrong with you? And you're just eating it up. Oh, my God. Look at what they're doing. All of a sudden, my heritage is going to be over, that I want to live in a country where there white kids go to white schools and white people, man.
Tina Zacchini, limerence is word of the week. And yeah, if y'all can try to use the word limerence, but I guess it doesn't really apply to everybody. I guess you have to be of the appropriate age to have those, to use that word, I guess. So yeah, but part of it is we're trying to use a new word in our vocabulary every single day of the week, and then each week it passes, we learn a new word, and we're just kind of developing our lexicon together. And yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications if you want. But yeah, let's continue. Thank you for the question.
Marry each other. What is wrong with that? I want to grow up in the country that my great-grandfather grew up in. That country doesn't exist anymore, asshole.
So you can see why there probably are some Nick Fuentes viewers who are a little confused when they hear themselves attacked as racist. Racism is wrong. Of course, it is wrong. But they've grown up in a world where one of the leading CNN anchors is looking right into the camera and saying, what the fuck is wrong with you white people? You want to be near other white people? You want to have a heritage? You want to have white children? How dare you? The CNN anchor is married to a white guy.
Cap Wins has entered into the chat. Trump is going to liberate us from the pesky burden of elections.
Whatever. But it's a little hard to tell people that racism is wrong when you're committing it. And again, it's not just a few people. It was our entire ruling class was lecturing us about how whiteness is a disease. It's a plague. It's inherently sinful. It's the source of all evil. The president of the United States stood up and said racism is the problem, and it's only committed by whites. It's a white man problem. Is racism only committed by whites? No, and everyone knows that. Hating other people is a human problem, one that every person struggles with, hopefully struggles against, because it's wrong.
Roots for us. If only I could read that comment, buddy. Oh my gosh. Hopefully y'all subscribe and like, because you can read some amazing comments like this.
It's always wrong. Anti-Semitism is wrong. It's every bit as wrong as what you just saw. It's every bit as anti-black racism or anti-Malaysian racism. It doesn't matter. Hating people for how they were born is wrong. It's called a universal principle. This country is founded on universal principles. They apply to everyone equally. That's the promise of America. That is Western civilization. If you could sum it up in a sentence, what is Western civilization? What's a civilization governed by...
Ariane Del Matris. Well said. Well said. Absolutely. And a lot of people say it's just for division and money and power. And the more people are divided, the less strong they are. So the more they'll need to depend on certain other things that... they need to depend on certain other things rather than those ideal things they should be close to, like family and friends and love.
By universal principles. Everyone can be saved. No one is damned by his nature. And hating any group, because that's true, hating any group is by definition immoral. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. It happens all the time, of course, because it's the default setting in the human heart. But we need to struggle against it. Maybe not ban it. Hard to ban attitudes. And once you get down that road, you become totalitarian immediately. But say it's wrong. And if it's not wrong in every case, then it can't really be wrong, can it? If it's not a universal principle, then it's not a principle. And so how can my racism be worse than your racism? Well, of course it can't. So the people lecturing Fuentes viewers for something that is wrong, hating all Jews is wrong, totally wrong, don't have the moral authority to make the case because they've been engaging in this in public and in private for the entire lifetime of Nick Fuentes viewers. So it's hard to take them seriously. And by the way, you can tell exactly where this is going. It's going toward violence. Tribal warfare. That's the last thing you want. That's why this is a great country. That's why it's exceptional, because we haven't had that. And why haven't we had that? Because we have self-consciously and out loud said, these are universal principles that apply to every human being because every human being was created by God in God's image. That's it right there. That's a Christian understanding of the human soul. There's been a lot of noise in the news recently, but it doesn't matter if you can't hear. Most terror for man against word. Nick Fuentes, health care, anti-Semitism. Good, I agree. But where was Bill Ackman when Harvard was systematically, as it is today, discriminated against people on the basis of their race? Straight white men. Harvard discriminates against them. There's no guessing about that. There was a lawsuit about it. We have the numbers. No one said a word. No one said a word. Where was Paul Singer? These are now big Republican conservative donors. Were they upset? Did they say anything? Did they do anything meaningful? These are billionaires. If any
conservative donors,
anybody could have weighed in effectively against systemic racism, real systemic racism, causing harm, promoting one group over another on the basis of race, it would have been guys like this. They said not a word. Or they certainly didn't do anything about it, that's for sure. Now they're all upset. Well, that looks like self-interest to people watching. These, for the fifth time, are universal principles. The continuation of the United States depends upon those principles. They must be vigorously defended, above all by the most powerful people in our society, the people who not simply have a voice, but have power to enforce those principles. The meritocracy is not just some goal that we should strive toward. It's the whole point. You have to judge people on their behavior, not on their blood. Otherwise, you move very quickly into collective punishment. This is why what Israel is doing in Gaza is immoral, not simply because it's a bloody war where civilians are being killed. That's very common and very sad. But what makes this different and worthy of comment is that Israeli politicians are saying out loud, and Mark Levin is joining them in saying out loud, and a number of other Americans are saying out loud, it doesn't matter if they die because they're stained from birth by this sin. It's the opposite of universalism. It's tribalism. And it's certainly not unique to the Middle East at all. And anyone who thinks it is an idiot. It's the human condition. It's the state of man. It's like the deepest, most obvious sin that we exhibit. But it's the whole problem. And you see it in this country too. Oh, that's outrageous. Really, Donnie Deutsch? Is it outrageous? Did you say anything about the racism all around you and the elite institutions that you're so proud of being a part of? It was the basis of those institutions. No, we're gonna help some people and hurt other people based on what their parents look like. So why don't you sit this one out, actually? Why don't you be quiet for a moment and think about what the core problem is? That's the core problem right there. It's not a defense of racism or anti-Semitism. It's all the same. It's the only reason to oppose it. If it applies to you, it applies to me. You should defend that principle as vigorously as I do. And let's hope, there's no evidence that's happening, by the way. Everyone's just retreating into their own little group, being like, no, I don't want my people to get hurt. No. You don't want any person in our country ever to face that, ever. That's why segregation was wrong. That's why the Nazis were bad. I mean, really? We have to have this conversation? Apparently we do.
Tucker is amazing. Guys, I got to do something, but I will be right back. So make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like, and share with a friend if you want. But I love you. The Lord loves you. You're amazing, and we will be back.